Hello and good afternoon. Today we're going to talk about ladder safety as part of our summer safety series. This is intended for employers and this is a recorded webinar. So we're going to go kind of quick. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Um, if you need to revisit, this will be sent out once it is uploaded to YouTube, and hopefully you can revisit that way. All right, so first of all, this is not a comprehensive training. There is still additional training employees are going to need after this. They have to know specific things about your work site, and information about the manufacturers of your ladders. So um, this training can't include everything. So why are we talking about ladders today? Well, here's why. It is costing our industry millions of dollars every year. This is from 2012 to 2022 in Washington state alone. You don't have to fall very far to get hurt. Most injuries involving ladders are from less than 10 feet. Falls usually take place from the upper part of the ladder, resulting in serious sprains or other injuries, which are usually costly claims. Accidents result usually in sprains, contusions, fractures, or dislocations, or in some cases, multiple injuries. According to the Labor and Statistics, 20% of fatal fall injuries occur from ladders, usually because you have uncontrolled falls at that point. Every year, there are more than 200 injuries associated with ladders. They consist of, or the egg industry consists of the falls from ladders consists of 29% of all claims in agriculture. And if you look at tree fruit alone, it rises to a whopping 36%. In Washington state, there are more compensation claims by orchard workers than any other type of agriculture worker. Orchard injuries alone account for 45 to 58% of the total workers' compensation claims in Washington farms, costing Washington state employers a lot of money. The average time out of work from an accident in an orchard was 150 days. Between 2015 and 2019, our members experienced 1,300, Washington Farm Bureau members, by the way, experienced 1,387 claims for injuries caused from falls from ladders, costing our program $14,424,192. The most common accidents are falls from ladders, ladders tipping, or a person slipping. My notes don't want to cooperate. All right. So what do you need to do as an employer? Most importantly, you need to train. You need to train employees on how to use ladders safely. Be aware of unsafe practices, such as setting up ladders on unsafe surfaces like boxes, steps, or anything that is not flat ground. Climbing with wet or greasy shoes. Removing safety feet from the ladder. Oops. And then also training them on how to correctly use the ladder. So choosing the right ladder for the job, assessing the area where the ladder will be used, the condition or the floor or ground, how to level it, inspecting for defects, using the ladder safely, and being aware of unsafe practices, especially overreaching in the orchard industry. So here are the 4 rules for using a portable and orchard ladder. Making sure you're picking the right ladder for the job, making sure the ladder is in good condition, is set up properly, and that the employee will work safely from the ladder. There are several different types of ladders. So when we're saying pick the right one, here are some examples of the ones you can pick. Wood provides a natural feel and good insulation against heat and cold. However, untreated wood ages quickly. Wood ladders need protective coats of linseed oil, not paint or varnish, to keep the wood from drying and splitting. Also, wood ladders are very heavy, particularly long ones. Aluminum ladders are lightweight and corrosion resistant. They won't crack or chip with rough handling. However, aluminum doesn't insulate well against heat and conducts electricity well. Never use aluminum ladders for work near electrical sources or energized electrical lines. Fiberglass is another option. It's durable, weather resistant, and non-conductive when clean and dry. Unlike wood, fiberglass won't dry out or split. It provides better insulation against heat than aluminum. However, fiberglass ladders are heavier than comparable aluminum ladders or wood ladders and can chip or crack with improper handling. All of these are portable. They can be carried or moved readily. They're typically manufactured in aluminum or fiberglass. Classifications include self-supporting ladders, single ladders, twin front ladders, extension trestle, and extension ladders. So determine how much weight will be applied, including the employee and the load that the employee will be carrying. There's different ratings. The extra heavy duty has a maximum weight of 375 pounds. The class 1A is up to 300 pounds. Heavy 1 is 250 pounds. Medium is 225 pounds. Light is 200 pounds. Usually those are used for household use. And then we get to the orchard ladder and some of the fixed ladders. Now, I'm not focusing solely on orchard ladders because we don't only have orchard ladders that are out there in the field. There's maintenance workers or other kinds of work that require ladder use. But this is by far the ladder that causes the most claims in our program. The orchard ladder is a 3-legged portable ladder used in the orchard that can be readily moved or carried. It's nice because, actually, I think the next slide will talk about the reason why the orchard ladder is nice. But the most important part of it is making sure that it's set up properly with a good footing and that the person that is climbing it has clean boots. We have a lot of injuries that are caused because they step on the fruit or some debris that's on the rung of the ladder while they're climbing up or down. And then, of course, fixed ladders. And those are fairly obvious. We don't have to worry about setting these up or anything, just making sure that the employee is climbing it properly. Okay. So before it gets put into use and every day before use, ladders need to make sure that employers need to make sure that their ladders are in good condition. So that means before people go and use them every day, there should be a quick inspection, checking the joints, the rungs, the side rails, make sure they're not split or broken. All bolts and rivets are in place and secure. The hardware, fittings, and accessories are securely attached and working properly. Movable parts are moving freely without binding or excessive play. Safety feet and other auxiliary equipment is not excessively worn. The metal components are not corroded, and they're not faulty or defective components at any point. Make sure that wooden ladders are not coated with an opaque covering, making for the minimum amount necessary to identify the warning signs, which may be placed on the one face only or on the side rail. Don't use ladders that are in need of repair. Those must be taken out of service. So use the ladder inspection criteria that we just talked about. An inspection is required after anything like the following occurs. So if there is any structural damage marked, if the mark it defective or tag do not use or similar language and remove it from service. Do not use ladders for skids, braces, workbenches, or any other purpose that is not for strictly climbing. How to set up the ladder. Another important part, not like this person here. We want to make sure it's on solid ground and follow the manufacturer's recommendation. Do not place tools or materials on the steps of the platform of a step ladder. Make sure the step ladders are free, and this is going to go for orchard ladders too. Set up on a firm and level surface. Make sure that step ladders or orchard ladders are fully opened with the spreader bars in down position and locked before using it. If you have to place a ladder in front of a doorway that opens toward the ladder, make sure you block the door and close it and lock it, or guard the door to prevent a person coming through it. For extension ladders, make sure that all the ladder's feet are all on the firm surface of the floor or ground. They must be equipped with non-skid feet. Straight ladders should be placed against the wall at an angle so that the base of the ladder is 1 foot away from the wall for every 4 feet of height. So that's a 4-to-1 ratio. After raising the extension ladder portion, 2 or more rungs of the ladder to the desired height. Actually, it should be 3 feet above the desired height. So if the employee is going to be climbing from the ladder to a surface, it needs to be 3 feet above that surface. And that's to help with handholds as they go from the ladder to the work surface. And then for an orchard ladder, make sure you keep rungs of shoes and boots clean of substances that would make them slippery and hazardous. Do not step off the ladder onto the branches. Only one person at a time may stand on an orchard ladder. Never sit on the orchard ladder or the top cat, and do not stand on the top 2 steps of the orchard ladder. When positioning a tripod ladder like this, the steps should be level and the tripod leg should extend straight from the center line of the ladder. Where possible, the tripod leg should be placed on level ground. On sloping ground, if possible, or if necessary, position the tripod leg uphill. When positioning the ladder across a landscape, locate the tripod leg downhill. Position the straps of the fruit sack or bucket to evenly distribute the picked crop and maintain a stable posture on the ladder. Carefully remove fruit from the tree without overreaching or being poked or hit by any rebounding branches. You can avoid overreaching or reaching too high by moving down and moving the ladder. And then orchard ladders longer than 16 feet are prohibited. And then, of course, we're going to work safely from the ladder, which means stay off outdoor ladders during bad weather, such as really heavy rain, wind, or lightning. It's hard to do here sometimes. Make sure ladders are not moved, shifted, or adjusted while you're working on it. Prohibit work to be done from ladders that are 5 feet high above the ground or more. Let's see. Sorry about that. Never use a ladder or any other tools within 10 feet of energized electrical equipment, such as power lines. Face the ladder when climbing up and down. Keep the center on the ladder. So how you do that, how you make sure employees do that is where their belt buckle should be within the 2 side rails of the ladder. Never lean from one side to the other. Do not carry tools or materials in your hands. So those bags need to be secure on them so that they can use their hands to climb up and down using 3 points of contact at all times. And then footwear should always be clean and made of non-skid material. It's nice to have a little bit of lip on the end, on the heel side of your boot, if possible. And then if you remember to pick the right ladder, check its conditions, set it up the right way and correctly, you will be ensuring the job is done safely. For fixed ladders, you're checking for defects in fixed ladders to be repaired as soon as possible. Fixed ladders without cages or wells must have at least 15-inch clearance from the nearest permanent objects on each side of the center line of the ladder. Keep the top and base areas of the ladder clear from obstructions. And make sure the side rails of the through step side ladders extend 42 inches. Here is just an example of a quick inspection log that you can do, and ladders need to be maintained properly. So you want to check every day before use, but at least once a year, you should be going through and doing a really good inspection of each ladder. If a ladder ever tips over, inspect the side rails for dents or bends or excessive dents on the rungs. Check all rung to side rail connections and check the hardware connections. If a ladder is exposed to excessive heat, inspect visually for damage and test for deflection and strength characteristics. If the employer is unsure about the ladder's condition, seek help from the manufacturer. And then establish a program for the regular maintenance point. Here we're checking for the joints between the steps or rungs and the side rails are tight. The rungs, cleats, or steps are not bent, broken, or missing. Rungs and steps of portable metal ladders are corrugated, curled, dimpled, coated, and skid resistant, or otherwise treated to minimize the possibility of slipping. Any climbing surfaces are free from slippery substances, so any debris, oil, sawdust, anything like that. You must ensure portable ladders, rungs, steps, and cleats are parallel and level and uniformly spaced when the ladder is positioned for use. Make sure that the side rails are not bent or broken or split, and that all bolts and rivets are in place and secure. All movable parts should operate freely. Safety feet should be attached. Each step ladder or combination ladder used in a step ladder mode is equipped with metal spreaders with locking devices. And then maintain ladder surfaces free from punctures or lacerations. And there's just no other faulty or defective components. Destroy any ladders that can't be repaired safely. Defective ladders must be withdrawn from service for repair or destruction and tagged as dangerous. Do not use until they're repaired. Ladders with broken or missing steps, rungs, cleats, or broken side rails or faulty equipment just cannot be used. And then prohibit repairs, which include tying or binding with wire. Improvised repairs must not be made. Prohibit painting of ladders, as this can hide cracks or other weak points. A commercially portable ladder should have a label indicating that it meets the requirements of the ANSI standards. I've always thought that it was a requirement to have the labels visible. I recently found that that is not the case. However, it is a good idea to have the manufacturer's information easily accessible, and you can get replacement stickers from the manufacturer usually. Transporting ladders. When transporting ladders, one would place his or her arm through the ladder and balance it on his or her shoulder. That way they can carry it in a horizontal position if needed. Use 2 people to carry it and watch for other people or obstructions. Ensure the ladders are stored in an area that would minimize damage. Ladder storage must protect the ladder when not in use. Provide sufficient support to prevent excessive sagging, provide ease of access or inspecting, and prevent dangerous accidents when withdrawing the ladders for use. I just put a picture of this little trolley here because I thought that was fairly handy for transporting ladders. I know that's not always the case out in the field. You can't use something like this, but this was just a nice example of something simple that can be used to carry some of the heavier ladders. So to summarize, do inspect the ladder every time. Make sure you're training your employees to inspect the ladder every time before use. Do not use them if they have any discrepancies. Fully extend the spreader. If it's a single ladder that you are climbing onto a work area, an elevated work area, make sure that the ladder is extended 3 feet past its landing. Check the angle. It should be a 4x1 angle. Always check the stability before you start climbing on it, and then wear non-slip shoes that are free of debris or anything that might cause slipping on the rungs. Stay near the middle, keeping that belt buckle within the side rails, and then maintain 3 points of contact at all times. Don't stand on the top steps or the top cap. Do not set up on unstable ground or use a defective ladder. Do not extend too far or overreach or carry loads. When you carry anything in your hand, you can't maintain the 3 points of contact. All right. So I know that was quick. We're trying to make them quick and easy to get through. Let's see. I don't see anything in the chat. I do have a question here. Oh, thank you, Jeff. um, Here is our contact information. Again, this is recorded. At the end of the week, we have 2 more webinars coming up Thursday for the employee part of this. So if you have employees that need some training in ladder safety, this will get through the general part of the training, but there is still additional training that is required, more specific training to the work site. Once we get through those 2, we will send out an email to our members that have the recorded webinars so you can revisit when you need to. All right, and with that, if nobody else has any questions, I thank you for coming today, and hopefully this helps you in your workplace.